This is the Royal Enfield Meteor 350, and in this video I'm going to give you a full review and tell you what to expect when looking at this motorcycle. So this motorcycle starts at £3,879. That's in a red colour, and there's also a fireball yellow, I believe it's called. Here I've got it in Supernova brown, and that costs £4,039. I really like this colour. I think it's perhaps, you could say it's very classic looking, maybe more of a vintage style of colour, which goes with the bike very nicely. The Meteor has a single cylinder 350cc air-cooled 4-stroke engine. It produces 20.2 brake horsepower at 6,100 RPM and 27 newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. By no means is this bike powerful. It certainly doesn't feel powerful, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a gentleman's rider. You go out for a Sunday ride in the beautiful countryside where I am now, enjoy the ride, enjoy how small and nimble it is. You can get down the country lanes easily, not like a big, massive, heavy motorcycle. It's so light, you can twist in and out, and that makes it perfect on the twisty lanes and fantastic in the town as well. But if you do want to give it some, it doesn't really have a lot of poke. Hello, you alright?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I'm just filming a review of this. Yeah.
No, I'm just in case you wanted anything.
Oh, that's funny. No worries. No.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a Royal Enfield. It's the new Meteor, it's called. But they've lent it to me for a couple of weeks, so yeah, it's really nice.
Where are you from?
The Meteor has a wheelbase of 1400 millimeters and a seat height of 765. Now I don't weigh. I am 6'1", and to be honest with you, this bike feels absolutely fine for someone of my height. It might look a bit small, but riding wise it feels absolutely fine. So if you are above 6 foot, you won't have too much trouble riding this bike. You might look a bit like an ape on top of a monkey's back, but it feels absolutely fine, and that's the main thing. And if you are about 5'5", this bike's probably the perfect size for you. The specs for this bike actually give a max speed, which is not quite something that you normally see, and it does 70.8 miles per hour. So as I said before, it's not a quick bike, but it can do 70 miles an hour. I haven't got it up to that. It's kind of, especially if you're on a slight slope, it's struggling at 50-60, but around the narrow lanes you don't really want to go much faster than that. So as I said, it's perfect for that, and this is of course A2 compliant because it's under 47 horsepower. So if you've just passed your A2 test at 19 years old, you can go straight out and buy this bike and not have to do anything to it. You don't have to restrict it. It's fine as it is from the factory. So if you're looking for a step up from a 125, this would be a good option if you don't want anything too powerful. The Meteor only weighs 191 kilos, that's in running order, so with all your petrol and lubricants in it, and it really is light and it feels light, especially around the corners. It's very confidence inspiring the way you can just throw it in. It doesn't feel twitchy at all, but it goes exactly where you tell it to, and that's what I love about this bike. The gearbox in the Meteor is a 5-speed manual gearbox with a conventional clutch, which is very easy to use, but the shifters, so you've got a heel shifter as well as a toe shifter. I like the addition of the heel shifter. I think it's easy to use, it's quite enjoyable, but the angle of the toe shifter means that I can't actually get my toe underneath it to shift up, not very easily anyway, so I kind of have to use the heel shifter, whereas I'd rather kind of have the option to use both, but that's not really a major issue. Just switch direction so easily, it's unbelievable, but it's not in any way twitchy, which a lot of the time with bikes that are very quick to manoeuvre, they're a bit twitchy, but this isn't. It's stable at speed as well, so it's fantastic. The petrol tank is a 15 litre classic teardrop petrol tank. I don't really understand how it's got more litres in it than my Harley, because my Harley tank looks bigger, so that's remarkable. And the miles per gallon figures are astonishing. 101.25 miles per gallon. That is incredible. And even with not even a full tank, it's telling me I've got over 300 miles range, and that's just unbelievable. You could go so far on one tank of petrol. It really will cost you nothing to ride this bike. You've got a single disc brake on the front and the rear. The stopping power is plenty good enough. And you've got telescopic forks on the front and a dual tube emulsion shock absorber on the rear with 6-step adjustable preload. So you really can get this bike just right for your weight. And if you're carrying a passenger, you can get that setting just right for you. The display on the Royal Enfield is a mixture of digital display and an analog, so you've got analog speedo, and then in the middle it kind of tells you how much petrol you've got, what gear you're in, how many miles you've got. I've got sort of 3/4 of a tank, and it's saying I've got 387 miles range. That is unbelievable. I really can't get my head around that. And you've also got this other little screen on the right, which tells you the time. I'm sure you can probably get it to tell you something else, but I'm not sure. And when you turn it on, it said it was built with Google, so I think Google have designed that screen. Now, this bike comes in so many different colours that I can't even remember them off the top of my head, so I'm going to use my trusty old device to show me all the colours. So you can get Supernova Blue, Supernova Brown, which I've got it in here. You've got Stella Red, like the beer. You've also got Stella Blue, Stella Black, Fireball Red, and Fireball Yellow. The Fireball colours are kind of the plainest ones, with a kind of graphic rather than a badge, and they're the cheapest as well. The Meteor comes with a rear seat and pegs as standard, and this little backrest, so if you do want to take a passenger, you've got that capability. I think if you have a passenger on the back and you're going up a steep hill, it might be a bit of a struggle, but it's nice to know that if you need to have someone pop on the back, that it is possible. The mirrors are very good. I can see pretty much all of the road behind me, so no issues there. And this windshield that comes as standard, it's very nice, it works, but I found that at around 50-60 miles an hour I get a little bit of buffeting on my head, so that might be to do with my height. If you're a little bit shorter, it's probably alright, because I find if I duck down I'm fine, but as of my height, a little bit of buffeting, which is slightly annoying but not a major issue. that little screen that I was on about earlier is actually the Tripper Navigator, as they call it. It's designed by Google, and all you have to do is download the Royal Enfield app, connect it via Bluetooth to your bike, and you can use it as a sat-nav to tell you where you need to go, which is fantastic. It means you don't need to have a mount to put your phone on and then worry if your phone's going to fall off. It's much easier, built in, looks fantastic, nice and small, so it's not sort of getting in the way, and the design of it's very pretty. So that is an absolutely fantastic feature. You don't want me to film, do you? Keep coming up here. Hey, what are you doing? So the wheels, you've got a 19-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear. These wheels look very nice actually. They remind me slightly of the wheels from the Harley Davidson Iron, with the sort of the black alloy with the little bit of silver chrome down the middle. It's a very nice looking wheel, so no issues there. Now on lanes like this, 20 horsepower is plenty enough. You've got to account for the fact that there's, you know, traffic, there's horses. You just don't really have the opportunity to go fast, so you don't need any more power, and it's perfect for trundling along, and you could go hundreds of miles without needing to fill it up. It's brilliant. So in conclusion, what do I think of the Royal Enfield Meteor? I think it's a fantastic little bike. It's nice and nimble, it's easy to ride, and if you are coming for your first A2 licence compatible bike, this would be fantastic. It's an easy place to start. If you don't want too much power, it's not going to kill you at all. It's got very gentle riding, and around the country lanes it's perfect, around the town it's perfect. So even if you are maybe slightly older and you want something as a second bike to plod around on, this is also a perfect option. So really I'm impressed with this bike, and I'd certainly buy one myself if I was looking for a small capacity, enjoyable, lightweight bike. I think this bike is beautifully designed, much like all the other Royal Enfields. They are some absolutely stunning motorcycles, and we're going to have plenty more Royal Enfield videos coming on the channel. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get in touch with them for well over a year, and to no avail. But now they've changed the company who deals with the press bikes, so they're actually on the ball. So we've got plenty more coming. So if you're interested to see the rest of the Royal Enfield lineup, make sure you subscribe and like the video. It really helps, and it helps us get hold of more bikes. The more subscribers we have, the easier it is to get bikes. Now, if you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out our t-shirt store. You can see that in the row below the video, and anything that goes from there is a massive help. And if you tag us in a picture, we'll make sure we post it on our Instagram and Facebook pages. And if you want to help us out in another way, you can check out our Buy Me a Coffee site. We'll leave that in the description below. Anything from there goes back into the videos. We want to make our videos better and better. I want to upgrade this camera, so anything from there is going in the pot to fund that.